What if I told you that something as sweet and innocent as chocolate could be quietly raising your risk of a life-threatening stroke? For seniors, a stroke remains one of the leading causes of long-term disability. We often point the finger at cigarettes, high blood pressure, or stress. But very few of us ever look at the chocolate bars, cookies, or creamy desserts we enjoy every day. And that's where the hidden danger often lies. I still remember Mrs. Linda, a 74-year-old grandmother who came to me after a mild stroke. She laughed and said, "Doctor, all I did was spoil myself with my favorite sweets." But when we looked closer, we discovered that the type of chocolate she ate every night was silently hardening her arteries and pushing her blood pressure to the edge, all without her realizing it. Her story is not unique. So today, let's sit down together and uncover 7 common kinds of chocolate that may look delicious on the outside, but are secretly increasing your stroke risk. Before we begin, let me ask you, do you believe chocolate can be harmful to your brain health? Or do you think it's just another food myth? Let me know in the comments if you suspect there's some truth, or if you think it's impossible. I promise you, we read and reply to every single comment because your voice matters here. And while you're here, make sure to subscribe to Health 365 so you won't miss the important health secrets that could protect you or someone you love. First, let's talk about milk chocolate. It feels like comfort. It melts smoothly in your mouth, brings back childhood memories, and is often given as a little treat after dinner. But hidden behind that sweetness is a dangerous mix of sugar and milk fat that your body can't simply brush off. When you eat milk chocolate, the high sugar content causes your blood glucose to spike. At the same time, the saturated fats from the milk increase your LDL cholesterol, the bad cholesterol that sticks to artery walls. Research from the American Heart Association has shown that seniors who consume diets rich in added sugars and saturated fats have up to a 23% higher risk of stroke. What looks like an innocent treat can actually set off a chain reaction inside your body, leading to sticky cholesterol deposits, rising blood pressure, and arteries that grow stiff and fragile. Let me share the story of Robert, a 60-year-old retired teacher. Every night, he would relax in his armchair with a glass of milk and a few squares of his favorite milk chocolate. It seemed harmless, but over the years, his blood pressure crept up. His doctor warned him about borderline diabetes, and then, one morning, he woke up with weakness on his left side. It was a minor stroke. Robert was shocked. He thought the danger came only from fast food or smoking, not the candy he loved. His recovery went well, but it forced him to rethink every single habit. So what can we learn from Robert's story? If you enjoy chocolate, consider switching from milk chocolate to a small piece of dark chocolate with at least 70% cocoa. It's naturally lower in sugar and higher in flavonoids, which support healthy blood vessels. Even then, moderation is key. A single ounce is enough to satisfy a craving without harming your arteries. And if you think milk chocolate is concerning, wait until you hear what's hidden inside white chocolate. That might surprise you even more. White chocolate looks elegant, smooth, and creamy, a luxurious dessert reserved for special occasions. But here's a twist that surprises many people. It isn't really chocolate at all. Unlike dark or even milk chocolate, white chocolate contains no cocoa solids. This means it completely lacks the natural flavonoids that help protect your blood vessels. Instead, what you're left with is mostly cocoa butter, sugar, and milk fat. That combination might taste indulgent, but it can quietly thicken your blood and increase your triglycerides, which are fats that circulate in your bloodstream. Studies published in the journal Stroke have linked elevated triglycerides to a significantly higher chance of blood clots, the very trigger behind many ischemic strokes. Let me tell you about Margaret, a 60-year-old widow from Florida. She adored white chocolate truffles and often bought them as a little joy during her grocery trips. Margaret had no history of smoking. She stayed fairly active, and she thought her risk of stroke was low. But her yearly blood tests revealed sky-high triglyceride levels. She was puzzled until her doctor pointed to her nightly habit of finishing off a few white chocolates. Within months, she began experiencing brief dizzy spells, which turned out to be mini-strokes. It was a frightening wake-up call. So, what's a better choice? If you're craving a creamy dessert, try a bowl of Greek yogurt with fresh berries and a sprinkle of unsweetened cocoa powder. You'll get a similar sense of indulgence, but with protein, antioxidants, and far less sugar. And if you still crave something chocolatey, remember that dark chocolate offers protective compounds that white chocolate simply cannot provide. Now, if white chocolate sounds risky, our next type might alarm you even more. Because when sugar, caramel, and artificial fats combine, the impact on your arteries can be just as harmful as smoking a cigarette every day. Caramel-filled or nougat-packed chocolates like Snickers or Milky Way may feel like the perfect pick-me-up when your energy dips. They're chewy, sweet, and comforting. But what most people don't realize is that this combination of corn syrup, sugar, and hydrogenated fats creates a dangerous storm inside the body. The high glycemic load from the corn syrup spikes your blood sugar rapidly, while trans fats damage the lining of your blood vessels and trigger inflammation. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, people with diets high in added sugars and trans fats have significantly higher rates of insulin resistance, a condition that sets the stage for type 2 diabetes and doubles the risk of stroke. Take Daniel, a 60-year-old retired bus driver. He used to keep a stash of candy bars in his glove compartment, saying they gave him a quick burst of energy on long drives. At first, it seemed harmless, but years of daily indulgence left him with a growing waistline, constant fatigue, and eventually type 2 diabetes. One winter morning, he collapsed with slurred speech and weakness in his arm. It was a stroke, brought on by blocked blood vessels that had been silently narrowing for years. Daniel later admitted, "I thought candy was for kids. I never imagined it could take away my health." So what's a healthier swap? If you need a quick snack, try a handful of unsalted nuts with a few raisins or apple slices. You'll get steady energy and fiber to keep your blood sugar stable, with none of the artery-clogging fats. And if you're still craving chocolate, choose a small piece of dark chocolate instead of a whole bar layered with caramel or nougat. Just when you think the danger is limited to chewy candy bars, wait until you hear about silky, cream-filled chocolates. They may look fancy, but the hidden risks are even more troubling. Cream-filled chocolates, whether it's a rich truffle or a soft fudge center, feel like a touch of luxury. They melt in your mouth with an indulgent sweetness. But beneath that creamy texture is a mix of heavy cream, condensed milk, and butter, ingredients packed with saturated fats. When eaten often, these fats can make your blood thicker, raise blood pressure, and speed up the buildup of plaque inside your arteries. Once that plaque hardens, it can rupture and block blood flow to the brain. That's how many strokes begin. Quietly at first, and then suddenly, with devastating consequences. Scientists at Harvard have found that diets high in saturated fats increase the risk of cardiovascular events, including strokes, by up to 21% in older adults. It's not just about lab numbers, it's about how blood struggles to move through vessels that should be open and clear. Imagine trying to pump syrup through a thin straw. That's what your circulation begins to feel like when saturated fats dominate your diet. Cream-filled chocolates may look harmless in a gift box, but for seniors, each bite adds invisible stress to the system. So what's a better choice? If you crave something creamy, swap the fudge or truffle for a chilled banana blended with a spoonful of natural peanut butter. It's smooth, sweet, and satisfying, but with fiber and healthy fats that protect instead of harm. And if you still want chocolate, a small square of dark chocolate is far safer than any cream-filled piece. Before we move on, let me ask you, do you still see cream-filled chocolates as innocent, or do you think they hide a real risk? Let me know in the comments. And while you're here, hit subscribe on Health 365 so you won't miss the tips that can protect your heart and brain every single day. Now, if cream-filled chocolates already raise concern, just wait until you hear what happens when cookies and candies get coated in chocolate. That mix creates a whole new level of danger. Chocolate-covered cookies and candies. Think of Kit Kat, Twix, or chocolate-coated Oreos. They seem playful and harmless, the kind of treat you'd share on movie night. But what looks like fun on the outside is actually a dangerous mix of refined flour, hydrogenated oils, and sugar on the inside. The refined flour breaks down quickly into glucose, spiking your blood sugar. The hydrogenated oils, often used to give these snacks a long shelf life, are sources of trans fats that inflame and stiffen blood vessels. And the sugar content is so high that it fuels abdominal fat and metabolic syndrome, a condition strongly linked with poor circulation and clot formation. According to the National Institutes of Health, metabolic syndrome doubles the risk of cardiovascular disease and stroke in older adults. What makes this combination so risky is how it works on multiple levels. The blood sugar surges damage the inner lining of your arteries, while the excess belly fat releases inflammatory chemicals that further strain your heart and brain. Over time, your blood becomes thicker, less able to flow smoothly, and far more likely to form clots. And once those clots break free, they can travel to the brain, leading to sudden, disabling strokes. The irony is that these snacks are often marketed as light or fun-sized, tricking us into believing small portions are harmless, when in reality, even modest but regular consumption takes a heavy toll. So what's a better swap? Instead of a chocolate-coated cookie, try a square of dark chocolate alongside a handful of almonds or walnuts. You'll get the crunch, the sweetness, and a boost of healthy fats that help your blood vessels relax. Another great option is to dip fresh strawberries in a thin layer of melted dark chocolate, sweet, satisfying, and packed with antioxidants. Up next, we'll look at a type of chocolate that doesn't even come in a bar, something many people sip before bed, without realizing the danger it may cause overnight. A warm cup of hot chocolate feels deeply comforting, especially on a cold night. Many of us see it as harmless, even wholesome. But the instant hot chocolate mixes lining supermarket shelves are often loaded with sugar and powdered milk fats. When seniors drink these mixes before bed, their blood sugar rises sharply. Then, as the body rests, that excess sugar thickens the blood. During sleep, when circulation naturally slows down, this sticky blood makes it easier for clots to form. Research from the American Stroke Association shows that strokes occurring during the night or early morning are especially common in older adults, often triggered by exactly this kind of metabolic stress. Let me tell you about John, a 70-year-old retiree. For years, he ended his evenings with a steaming mug of instant hot chocolate, believing it helped him sleep. But over time, his doctor noticed his cholesterol and blood pressure were worsening. One winter morning, John didn't wake up as usual. He had suffered a stroke during the night. Thankfully, he survived, but his family was shocked to learn that his bedtime drink had quietly contributed to his health crisis. John later said, "I thought it was a comfort. I never dreamed it could put me in the hospital." What's a safer alternative? Try warming up a glass of unsweetened almond milk with a teaspoon of pure cocoa powder and just a touch of honey. This version offers the same soothing flavor without the overload of sugar and fat, while still giving you the antioxidants naturally found in cocoa. So let me ask you, is bedtime hot chocolate still a harmless treat, or could it be a hidden risk? Let me know in the comments. And remember to subscribe to Health 365 for more tips on the everyday habits that could protect your brain and heart. Up next, we'll uncover the chilling truth about chocolate-covered ice cream, a dessert that combines cold temperatures with saturated fat in a way that can shock your blood vessels. Chocolate-covered ice cream bars like Magnum or Klondike look like the perfect summer indulgence. Cold, creamy, and sweet, they deliver a double hit of pleasure. But inside that treat is a dangerous combination: high-fat ice cream wrapped in a thick layer of sugary chocolate. The saturated fats in the ice cream raise your LDL cholesterol, while the sugar overload spikes your blood glucose. On top of that, the extreme cold temperature makes your blood vessels tighten temporarily, reducing circulation just as your blood becomes heavier and thicker from the fat. That 1-2 punch, vessel constriction plus fatty, sugary blood, creates the perfect conditions for a clot or a sudden spasm in the brain's arteries. Researchers at the Cleveland Clinic have reported that cold, high-fat desserts can trigger these vascular changes within minutes, especially in older adults with pre-existing risks. Consider Evelyn, a 60-year-old grandmother. On hot afternoons, she often treated herself to a chocolate-covered ice cream bar. She thought of it as a reward after gardening. But after months of indulging several times a week, she began to notice sudden headaches and brief episodes of blurred vision. A medical exam revealed narrowing blood vessels in her brain, aggravated by her diet. One night, she suffered a small stroke. Thankfully, she recovered. But Evelyn confessed she never suspected her favorite ice cream bars could be the culprit. What's a healthier choice? On warm days, try freezing slices of banana or grapes and dipping them lightly in melted dark chocolate. You'll enjoy that cold, sweet bite with natural fiber and antioxidants, without overwhelming your arteries. Or even better, blend frozen berries with plain yogurt for a creamy, cooling dessert that actually supports your vascular health. Now that we've uncovered all 7 kinds of chocolate that can silently raise your stroke risk, it's time for the bigger lesson. Your lifestyle choices matter more than any single snack. Today, we've revealed how from milk chocolate loaded with sugar, to candy bars packed with caramel, to even a simple cup of hot chocolate, each treat can carry its own hidden trap. But here's the good news. Your health is not determined by a single indulgence. It's shaped by your daily lifestyle. Choosing dark chocolate in moderation, adding more fruits and nuts to your diet, staying active, and monitoring your blood pressure. These are the small steps that protect your brain and heart. So I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever been surprised by how a seemingly harmless treat affected your health? Share your story in the comments below. We read every single one. And if you found today's talk helpful, tap that subscribe button on Health 365. You'll never miss the everyday habits that can keep you strong and independent for years to come.